Palmeiras likes to create chaos. Inter Miami likes to play in chaos because they have the guys they feel can take advantage of it.
Players to watch out for Palmeiras. Who's the first one?
I think there are a lot of exciting young prospects that people know about on this Palmeiras team, but for my money, the best player is Richard Rios. Now, I love midfield play, and this guy is an all-around midfielder, physical, athletic, big, technical, good under pressure, composed, all of the things you want in an all-around midfielder. He does so much for this team, and I think he's the best of, but he represents what this midfield can be, which is suffocating, athletic, can play through you, can play around you, and can play physically through you if you let them. They go for the kill in that midfield, and it is so impressive. And it all starts with this player. He is on a yellow card from that first game, and so he will be looking to avoid that second yellow and a potential suspension into the next round. But aside from that, this guy has everything you could want as a midfielder.
Very comprehensive as a midfielder, box to box, can play as a six, can have an unlocking forward pass as well. Brilliant player. If Inter Miami is able to win this game, they have to stop him.
Let's talk about Estevao. Willian.
The one player that's on everybody's mind in this tournament that everyone has their eyes on is Estevao Willian. He is a promising rising star in the world of football. So far, he hasn't had his moment, but I fear that Inter Miami might be the game where he decides to break out and take the game to the Herons. This is a player who can dribble past, really good one-on-one, very fluid, has a lot of flair. He's not afraid on the ball, a little bit of pace as well, can do multiple things really well in the forward line. And if we talk about moments in this tournament, if we talk about creating moments in this tournament, this is a player that can conjure something up out of nothing. He's magical to watch. And I think his moment is still waiting him in this tournament. And it's going to come soon enough.
You know, I'll be honest. The potential is off the charts. You can see the skill set, the talent. I think Inter Miami is getting him at the right age. If you tell me this player 24, Inter Miami is going to have to stop, it is going to be impossible. He has that level of upside, but he's not the finished product. He does take on maybe too many players sometimes. He can make things happen, but he's not always as clinical as he will need to be in this game. The flair, the potential, it's so obvious, the technical ability, but can he have that moment in this game? I think that's the big question. If he can, look out, world. This guy has everything. The next player I want to talk about is Gustavo Gomez, a player who absolutely deserves to be in this spotlight. Physical. He's the captain for Palmeiras, but specifically I want to talk about in this game, if Palmeiras can get that first goal, take the lead in this game, because we have seen how good this team is defensively. 2 shutouts against Porto and Al-Ahly, 2 teams that I think we have a lot of respect for. This defense is battle tested in Brazil. We've seen all the Brazilian teams be very good defensively, and he's their leader. And so when it comes to Palmeiras up a goal and trying to close out this game and being defensively sound, solid, Abel Ferreira, he is going to make sure these guys know what they're doing defensively. This is the player to watch. He's big, physical, Paraguayan international. Everything you love in a center back, he's got, and he's got the captain's armband. I don't think we could do 5 players to watch without mentioning him.
Yeah, he's going to organize their backline. And as we've said, Brazilian teams have been fantastic at shutting the opposition down. And Palmeiras has looked so organized in the backline. He's where it starts. And I think he's going to be the one to make sure that Inter Miami doesn't get a sniff at their goal.
Talk to me about this young striker that I have heard so much about over the last couple of years, but have not seen much of. Tell me about him.
Vitor Roque, still finding his feet at Palmeiras, arrived at the club in February, and I think he's still getting accustomed to the Brazilian system, to Palmeiras' system. He's got acceleration, he's got agility, he is good with his off-the-ball movement, quite physically strong as well, so doesn't mind a little bit of a push and a shove. But he hasn't been able to find that goal-scoring tenacity and that goal-scoring form yet. In front of goal, he's blanked out so far. but he has enough talent and enough ability to disturb this Inter Miami backline. If Inter Miami is too focused on Estevao, Vitor Roque could be the one who just comes out of nowhere, gets the ball in a dangerous position, and can convert an opportunity. We talk about taking your chances. This is Vitor Roque's game, and this is Vitor Roque's opportunity to take his chance and show himself why he was so well touted in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he is not that big in terms of his height. He's a bulldog. He's got a ton of muscle and he's strong and physical, but he's not particularly tall. And I do think that matters when we're talking about how he matches up against Inter Miami's defense. Wasn't particularly good in the first two games, but there's a reason he keeps starting. The upside is there. If this is the game it all comes together, could be a problem for Inter Miami. And then the last one, we've talked about this for the past couple, past week. The experienced goalkeeper could be the game saver for your team. Weverton is that guy. He's probably the most experienced at the highest level in this group. I know Mohamed El Shanawi has a ton of caps for Egypt, but Weverton has made appearances for the Brazilian national team, which I think is probably more impressive. He is the veteran, experienced, talented, long, good shot stopper, everything you could want in a veteran goalkeeper in this type of tournament. He has. And so when you're talking about Inter Miami, if you're going to score goals, you're not going to do it with a fluke. You're not going to do it with fluff. You're going to have to beat this goalkeeper, beat this defense, and he is the last line of defense, and he's exceptional at it.
Everyone thought that this group would be full of goals. There may be a couple of blowouts here and there, but the games have been very, very close. One or two goals only in every single game. And a large part of that is the goalkeeper union. And Weverton is not going to be left behind Ustari and behind El Shanawi. He is brilliant in the goal, can make a couple of really good saves to make sure his team remains in it. And he did that against Al Ali. He did that against Porto. Very dangerous player in the goal, and you have to beat him to be able to get the result that you want.
5 players for Inter Miami to watch in this matchup. Who's your number one?
Noah Allen. We've seen him deputize for Jordi Alba in the left back position, but I think in this game, Noah Allen is going to go back to being a centre back, a position that he's played really well this entire season. And I think he's going to do really well against this Palmeiras front line. It doesn't necessarily have the height, it's not as physically dominant. And Noah Allen has all the tools in the centre back position to deal with that sort of an offensive setup. He has the pace. He's very good with his positioning. He's good 1v1 as well. He's going to have a tough game because Jordi Alba is going to go up, which is going to leave space in behind for Estevao. So Noah Allen needs to make sure he covers all that space, closes down the players when they're on the ball, and just does really well, full concentration in one-on-one opportunities. He's going to be key for this Inter Miami team to keep a clean sheet because this Palmeiras side, as we've already discussed, has a couple of really talented key players who could unlock the defense in the blink of an eye. But I think Noah Allen is up for it.
Yeah, we've seen him at left back for the first 2 games of this tournament. With Jordi Alba coming back, it's likely he starts at that left-sided center back role. And there are players in this group that we would have been very nervous about him going up against because they are 6'3", 6'4". Vitor Roque, not that guy. And that doesn't mean he doesn't have a ton of other skill sets. But the one way that I think you can really take advantage of a guy who's 5'8" at center back is with that huge body that he just can't out physical. That's not what Palmeiras is going to show out of the gates. And so I think he absolutely belongs in this game. And then when he doesn't have that, he will show. This is the guy with all the quickness you could want defensively. He has the range. He is so good one-on-one defensive in one-on-one defense. Clears balls, calm under pressure, hard to press, so composed, all of the good things you want. I think this could be a really big game for Noah Allen.
All right, who's next?
Sergio Busquets. This is, I know, obvious, but we haven't talked about him in any of our previews yet. This is the first one I think he really matters. Palmeiras is going to be all over Inter Miami in the midfield. They have the physicality. They are going to be pressing high. They're going to be trying to win the ball every single time. And so for Inter Miami, it's going to be key to not turn the ball over in the midfield and let that Palmeiras team run at you defensively in transition. Busquets as a guy who is going to be composed under pressure. He is not going to turn the ball over. He is going to have a few moments where he gets past a defender in a way that they don't. A Palmeiras midfielder doesn't understand how it just happened, but that's what he does. Having that experience and technical ability in the midfield, I think, is going to be a huge lifeline for this Inter Miami team to play through. And then you can get the ball forward to your playmakers. But Sergio Busquets in this game specifically, I think, has a huge role to play from a calm everything down in the midfield. As Palmeiras tries to make it chaotic, you calm everything down. And I think that's going to be hugely important for Inter Miami.
Yeah, he's going to be the one setting the tempo. He's going to be the one setting the pace. And against a team that likes to make it chaotic in the midfield, you want no other person than Sergio Busquets, who has the brains and the ability to just slow things down when necessary, and then speed it up when needed. Very important. Just on that midfield thread as well, I think this is going to be a game where we see a very tenacious midfield battle. And for that reason, the next player I want to talk about is Telasco Segovia. He's, for me, been an underrated player for Inter Miami in this tournament. One that hasn't necessarily been glorified, but has done some very important things for the Inter Miami team in the middle of the park. I love when he plays in the middle because he can just link up so well with the players around him. He has the ability to occupy the spaces that are left by the opposition players, and he finds the right areas to cover so that he is always a person that anybody on the ball can just look for. He offers himself, and he also passes the ball off when it's needed. He doesn't hold on to the ball for too long and just keeps things moving in the middle of the park. And when we talk about keeping the ball, him and Sergio Busquets together are going to have a massive role to play to ensure that they keep the ball and do not lose it in dangerous positions that allows Palmeiras to hit into Miami on the transition.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. This midfield battle between these two teams is going to be exceptionally interesting. Palmeiras has the athleticism, the tenacity, the collective push to make it hell for Inter Miami. If we're being frank, can Inter Miami survive that with composure and calmness on the ball? I didn't think Porto did a particularly good job of it. If Inter Miami is going to do it, it's going to be Busquets. It's going to be Telasco Segovia. Um, but of course, if Inter Miami wants to win, they have to score goals. And that's why I wanted to bring in Luis Suarez to this conversation. We have not talked about him either so far this tournament. But this game, I think, could come down to, can you convert the half chances? We have seen so many teams in this tournament be given a half chance and put the ball 2 yards wide, put it meekly at the goalkeeper. If you need a guy who's going to get half a chance in the box, and he has to not just put it on frame, but put it past the goalkeeper and beat them, Luis Suarez might be as good as anyone in this group. He might be as good as anyone on this half of the bracket. He has that veteran experience. I think he needs to show. Is he always going to get to the point and the place on the field he needs to get to? No. But if he does, can he have the composure and the ability to put the ball in the back of the net? I think he does. Is this the game he comes good for Inter Miami? I think it might be.
He had a couple of opportunities against Porto that he was unable to take, hit the goalkeeper. But I still think this is a player that, in the blink of an eye, can change the game when he's given that opportunity. If you have a one on one opportunity with the goalkeeper among the 22 players that we're talking about, he's the one that I want in front, if not Lionel Messi. This is a player that can definitely finish off a half chance. He can create things for himself as well. He just needs to find his goal scoring boots, and he can be the difference maker for this Inter Miami team.
Give me the big one.
Who else but Lionel Messi, the greatest of all time? We have to finish off the key players for Inter Miami with Lionel Messi because, as we constantly say, this tournament is about the big moments. Lionel Messi is the only player on the pitch who can make a moment out of nothing. He did that against Porto, secured all 3 points for Inter Miami. If Inter Miami is going to beat this very good Palmeiras side, they're going to need their talisman to finish it off and to conjure up a moment from nothing. And he's more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, I think Palmeiras is going to outplay Inter Miami for most of this game, but games aren't won over 90 minutes all the time, and especially non-tournament play. It's, can you make the moment happen? Can you have the magic to get your team the moment it needs? And who has more magic than Lionel Messi?
So how does this Palmeiras side beat Inter Miami?
Suffocate the midfield, be better, more athletic, more talented, more technical, more aggressive, more physical. That's all in the cards for Palmeiras. This is a very good team. They have guys all over the field, so much talent and so much physicality. They're going to have to bring that to this game. And I think if they do, they could overwhelm Inter Miami in a way that Inter Miami has not been overwhelmed in this group so far. Can they overwhelm that midfield? We talked about Busquets and Segovia, and there's a Redondo and a Benjamin Kramaski, but uh, under the type of intense pressure they're going to get from Palmeiras, I think that could be sort of a floodgate that opens up if it doesn't, if Inter Miami is not able to withstand it. I think that could be where this game is won and lost. But uh, aside from that, they're going to have to score goals. They are good at creating goals as a team, but I don't know if they have that one guy. And so if they have their offensive players, the Rafael Vega, the Vitor Roque, the Estevao, the Facundo Torres, whoever ends up playing for Palmeiras, if they have their scoring boots on, they're going to win. The way they put the ball in the back of the net, if they can put the ball in the back of the net, could be key to this game.
Yeah, I expect Palmeiras to be the better team in this game. This is going to be a midfield battle, and it's going to be a midfield brawl at times, and that's how Palmeiras likes it. Alali and Porto in this group especially have suffered because of the physicality of it. Palmeiras is the one that's quintessential physical midfield play. You said it earlier, they like to go in for the kill. There were tackles flying in against that Alali game, and that's how Palmeiras truly likes to play in the middle of the park. But they also have the technicality to create opportunities. The only thing they've been lacking so far is goals and the finishing touch. If Palmeiras can find that finishing touch, if the front players that are also talented individually can link up together, this could be a very difficult game for Inter Miami to keep Palmeiras quiet. But I think it all starts from the middle of the park. If Palmeiras can smother Inter Miami, make it difficult for Inter Miami to hold possession, Inter Miami is going to struggle and Palmeiras is going to be on top.
You know, it's interesting because I do think the biggest advantage Palmeiras has is in the midfield, but also I think these games are won and lost in attack and defense, not like the regular season where the midfield battle is so important, but in a tournament style one game all winner take all type moment like this, can you put the ball in the back of the net? I think that's the biggest question for me watching this Palmeiras team. They have a bunch of players that are technical, but I don't know if they have that one guy that they can rely on and they feel confident is certainly going to put the ball in the back of the net. Now, if they can just overwhelm and they're just putting balls crosses into the box and they just are creating 1,000 chances for themselves, they will push through. But if they are stopped to the point where they're only going to get half a dozen chances, I don't know if they have that one guy that's going to put the ball in the back of the net. And then the other side defensively, exceptionally good. But if they end up going for the kill, can they be a little susceptible to the superstars that Inter Miami has? I think if they can lock it down defensively, they're not going to give up a goal. But can they put the ball in the back of the net? I think that's the biggest question for them. I do think they're going to win the midfield. I think we're going to be impressed and maybe even overwhelmed with how much athleticism they have and the physicality. Like I have high expectations for Palmeiras, but for me, the biggest question is, can they put the ball in the back of the net? I think at this level in this tournament, that is potentially going to be their downfall. Whether it's against Inter Miami or later on in the tournament, they have so much talent and depth elsewhere. It's just the guy you feel confident is going to give you a goal or two every game, and I'm not sure they have that.
They have the structure both defensively and in the midfield. If they find their scoring boots, they should be in for a good night.
I agree. So how does Inter Miami win this game?
This is going to be a chaotic game for Inter Miami because Palmeiras is going to try and smother them. Palmeiras is going to try and take the game to them physically. If Inter Miami can keep their calm in that chaos, if they can be composed on the ball, if they can protect the ball, make sure they don't give away the ball in silly areas to allow some of the vertical transitions from Palmeiras, Inter Miami could have a chance. I think they're going to struggle in the midfield, but it's all about taking those half chances. There's always going to be opportunity for this Inter Miami team. They have too much quality to not create chances, but they need to make sure they make the most of every single chance that they have. Luis Suarez needs to take his opportunities in front of goal. Lionel Messi unlocks the defense beautifully, but needs to make sure every single pass is pinpoint, because this Palmeiras team is not going to give them an inch. But as soon as there is even a little bit of space in the middle, Inter Miami needs to make the most of it.
No, I think you made two really interesting points there. First, I think Palmeiras is going to try and not give them a single inch. But Lionel Messi is so good at creating some separation for himself. He's one of the best in the world at it, even to this day. And so, can Inter Miami find ways to play through a very solid defense and a very physical midfield? That'll be a key component, because if you can't do that, you're not going to get the ball into positions where Messi and Suarez can actually be threatening on goal. But to me, the biggest aspect is, can you make it difficult for Palmeiras going the other way? They are going to win the ball. They are going to transition quickly. They are going to get the ball to Estevao and to Facundo Torres and to Rafael Vega and to whoever's out there, Vitor Roque. Can you make it difficult for them? Because you have a lot of, especially the top end talent, is young. It's inexperienced. It doesn't always come through in the clutch. It doesn't always come through in the big moments. And that, to me, is the key for Inter Miami in this game. They're going to have to keep Palmeiras to 0, maybe 1, if they want to win. And then going the other way, listen, I don't know how to explain it, but if you put Messi in the right position, he can create offense for you. I think he will be able to create a little bit of separation, give himself some opportunities, give a couple opportunities to Luis Suarez, to Tadeo Allende, to whoever's on the field for Inter Miami. That, I think, is going to come in half chances. You're going to get 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you take them? It's all about the big moments for Inter Miami. You're not going to overwhelm Palmeiras. It's just not going to happen. Can you be smart? Can you be composed? And then can you take advantage of the big moments? Who else would you want other than Lionel Messi? I think if you put Lionel Messi on Palmeiras, this Palmeiras team can win this tournament. But they don't have him. They don't have that guy. They don't have that dude that they're going to go to and feel confident in the moment. And Inter Miami does. Is he going to be the guy that makes the difference for Inter Miami? I'm extraordinarily curious to find out.
And this Palmeiras team has so much talent, so much promise, so much youth and energy. But what's the best cure to youth? Experience. And Inter Miami has plenty of experience. They have 4 important players who've seen everything in the world of football, but they've got other players across the pitch who are not deterred by individual talent. So as long as Inter Miami can stay compact, play as a team, communicate well on the pitch to make sure none of these Palmeiras youngsters find spaces to play in and around them, Inter Miami will have a chance. And then you've said it already. We have Lionel Messi. Inter Miami has that one talisman who could change the game in the blink of an eye. And Palmeiras hasn't necessarily seen that before. When Lionel Messi gets in dangerous positions, like with that free kick against Porto, the game can just flip on its head. As long as Inter Miami takes those opportunities, this could be a really good watch of a game.
You said at the beginning of this segment, Palmeiras likes to create chaos. Inter Miami likes to play in chaos because they have the guys they feel can take advantage of it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell us why we are right, why we are wrong. Tell us more about your team. Tell us more about all the things that we need to know for this matchup. We are incredibly curious, and I'm looking forward to the comment section. But until then, guys, enjoy the game. We will see you guys next time. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this, and have a wonderful day.